Africa's Local Government Association in KwaZulu-Natal is condemning Nersa's approval of the 18.65% electricity tariff hike. The organization also claims the power utility is charging exorbitant prices and high interest charges to compensate for operational inefficiencies. Thami Ntuli, chair of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, joins me now to further expand on this. Mr. Ntuli, thank you for your time. So SALGA has some demands on what you want. You say you want Eskom to charge a reasonable interest rate on municipal debt for outstanding power bills. What is a reasonable rate to you?
Well, thank you, Erin, and good day to yourself and to your listeners. SALGA in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we have been raising concerns with the behavior Eskom is displaying in terms of towards the users of electricity, especially which impacts local government or municipalities and even the emerging small businesses. Because the first move of 18.65, which comes at a time where there's this problem of load shedding and load reduction. You'll recall that there are municipalities, apart from load shedding, that the hours of providing them with electricity were drastically reduced by Eskom since they owe Eskom. And when you look at them servicing the debts with Eskom, you find that the interest given to them is almost 30%, whereas Eskom only servicing its debts for buying the diesel, which they seems to be more prone than the coal, which is quite exorbitant, which is costing the South African a lot of money. You find that they're only paying 8% of interest, according to the information that we discovered.
Yes. So are you saying you want 8% interest on the outstanding debt for municipalities owed to Eskom, because they're charging 8% interest on their debt and they're spending a lot of money on diesel? What's a fair rate of interest on debt?
Yeah, we believe it's not fair.
But what is fair? What would be a fair amount?
When they are paying 8%, they should be also paying around the same figure.
Okay. So even though you're talking about different things here, one is Eskom's debt, you're talking about debt on outstanding municipal fees for Eskom bills. You want the same flat interest rate for the two, and it's 8%.
That is what we believe to enable local government, in fact, to continue with the services. You'll recall that we always at SALGA appeal that 9% of equitable share which is given to local government is not enough, as when you look at what the people on the ground expect local government to do. You know, the impact of what is happening, this even 18.65% increase alone, not even
on tariffs, though, just to be clear. Yeah, let's not get the numbers too confused here. I want to stop you there, Mr. Ntuli. The position of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal is critical of Eskom's dependence on diesel. You want Eskom to be more reliant on coal, is that correct?
Yes, that is our view.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I need on that point. The other thing I just wanted to clarify is that what is your solution to the power crunch that Eskom is facing? We've just heard that we're going up to permanent stage 2, stage 3 load shedding for the next 2 years. Municipalities owe Eskom money. Residents, one might expect, would want municipalities to pay their dues and keep their lights on, maybe help Eskom to keep going. What's your solution?
Well, there are two things, Erin. The first one, which we made a call to municipalities in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, SALGA, was that they must consider an alternative source of energy. But at the same time, saying that, being quite aware that municipalities have a problem of funding, hence we're appealing to the National Treasury to consider an additional funding. I think if the country could be declared in a state of disaster when it comes to the issue of energy, that maybe might attract some more funds to the municipalities, so that they will find an alternative way of which will be cheaper, which will be even safer to the environment, that then can be used to actually provide electricity. At the same time, we are not seeing enough energy from or attempts by Eskom on the issue of trying to encourage the users of electricity to save. The issue of the lights, that they will sometimes talk about. I don't think there's enough program, apart from the challenges they are faced with, but I don't think there's enough program which is able to convince the people who are using electricity to understand the importance of saving electricity. We are making a call as SALGA. That is one thing as the responsible citizens. We need to also consider on how do we use the electricity that we are able to have, so that we meet halfway. Though we know that one will not have the remarkable impact in terms of the crisis we are
Mr. Ntuli, just coming back to your point about municipalities and maybe getting municipalities to be involved in generating power, how did municipalities fare in the Auditor General surveys of 2022? Since you're chair of SALGA, could you just reflect on some of that, since they're going to then be responsible for generating power?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yes, how did municipalities in the province perform in terms of audits in 2022?
Well, there is an improvement. There are those that are still struggling.
In fact, it was a minority that improved. I believe it was only 7 departments in the province that saw an improvement in the 2022 year.
Exactly. That is why we as SALGA, in fact, we've been making a call that it's important that when municipalities are employing people, they must employ people with necessary skills that will assist municipalities. And again, the thing of being reliant to the consultants, again, is not also transferring any skills and is not sustaining any skill to local government. And the issue of cadre deployment, as SALGA, we have been upfront in condemning the issue of cadre deployment, because that will result to even some of the employees being not having necessary capacity to assist. However, SALGA, we are not only making a call, we are also intervening, supporting municipalities with our experts on areas such as finance and the issues of asset management and other areas which municipalities are, in fact, seems to be a cause of concern when it comes to the Auditor General.
Yes.
But the attitude and the spirit of municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, I think, is quite very positive. If we can continue working together with courts and other stakeholders, we'll see a change.
Thank you, Mr. Ntuli. We're running short on time. Just a last yes-no question. With that enthusiasm and momentum you're talking about in terms of improving audit outcomes for municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, are they going to settle their power bills? Yes or no?
Sorry?
Will those municipalities, with all the support to deal with their financial concerns and cadre deployment, etc., be settling their power bills?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. There we go. Thank you, Thami Ntuli, Chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, for your time on power issues.